So, going old school. Now, can people hear me on here? So, I don't know where comments appear when I'm doing it on my phone, but if somebody could comment and say whether they can hear me doing it this way, I might try and put it on here as well, actually. So, is this working? Can people hear? Haven't got any comments appearing. Just have a look. Who's watching? So, Tess, can you hear me? Yay! Okay, we'll do it old school. This will be interesting. So, hi everyone. Sorry about that. I don't know if something weird's happened to my microphone on my laptop. I'll have to look into that in a while. So, sorry about that. So, I hope people can jump on again. So I'm doing a live about sort of mind mapping and memory techniques that I use because I was diagnosed dyslexic when I was doing my, in my third year of my degree. Explained a lot about some of my time in school and stuff. And one of the techniques that I learned, which was really, hi Sarah, was really useful, was mind mapping. So it's something that I use a lot because at the moment I'm doing an essential oil diploma, and because I don't have an anatomy and physiology qualification, I'm doing that as well. And that's obviously a lot of stuff that I'm reading about the body and the endocrine system and this, that and the other. And when I read, my dyslexia manifests itself. Hi Gail, glad you're back on. Manifests itself as a short-term memory issue. So I'm okay with spelling and stuff like that, but I really struggle to retain information unless I can find a way to get it into my long-term memory. So mind mapping is really useful. So it's something that I learned that Tony Bazan does. Hi Emma. Thanks Tess. Gail, look at Tess's comment. So he does this thing called mind mapping, which is where you use pictures and try and be really succinct about what you're learning. So that's one of the examples in a book I've got. But what I've discovered along the way, the stuff that really helps me and might help a lot of you, and I do this really well, is the more funny or rude or silly you can be when you're trying to write things or try and remember things and putting them in the mind map, the better. So some of the stuff that I do is coming up with silly rhymes or stuff like that. So at the moment I'm learning about the 3 different systems in the body, like the nervous system, the endocrine system, and a thing called the cytokines network. And so what I've done, because there's a lot of really long words and stuff like that, so I come up with silly rhymes. So I've been using, I know I told you all about the where you hook stuff on if you're trying to do 10 things, like 1 is bun and 2 is shoe and 3 is tree. So stuff like that works really well if you combine it in with mind mapping or doing drawings or stuff like that. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show you this very well because I'm not used to doing. So I've got a little man there. So the nervous system is the bit that goes down. So and I'm saying that the nervous system is like sending little emails down the nerves to the rest of the body. So if you stand on something sharp, your leg will move because a little email's gone to it going, ouch, that hurt. But then when you get onto the endocrine system, which is the one that creates all your hormones, I've then used that 1, 2, 3, 4 thing to remember about the different organs used in the endocrine system. So like the brain and the hypothalamus, which is number 2 with the shoe, kicks number 1 in the bun, which is the pituitary gland to tell it to send out hormones which are needed. And then the thyroid is in your neck, and that's 3 is tree because it's number 3, and that's used in your metabolism. So I've linked that in with a little story about, obviously trees are the lowest form of us getting energy, so that's a really good way of remembering metabolism, and that the thyroid's really important for that. So it's just trying to find silly little ways, rhymes. If you can be rude, it works really well with teenage boys, I have to say, and some teenage girls actually, because I remember things really well if it's rude. If you can be rude or silly or do drawings or anything like that. So it's trying to make the information that you're trying to learn more memorable, and the more silly, the more colours, the more silly pictures, the more that you can link in with things that you can remember, the better. So on here, I'm sorry, it's really difficult to see because of the fact I'm using my phone, but you can see at the bottom there I've got the hormones are like a little bicycle sending messages around the body in the bloodstream. So I've actually drawn a bloodstream as opposed to other things that use different ways of messages. So any way that you can find to be like silly or gruesome or stuff like that, the better. So the other thing I found really useful, obviously, is the essential oils I've been using, because I'm actually finding that I'm able to retain information better because I've been using a blend that's got grapefruit, rosemary and peppermint. And rosemary is really good for brain function anyway. Peppermint keeps you awake and sort of engaged. And grapefruit, I just love the smell of it, and it's an uplifting oil because it's a citrus oil. So I've been using those as well, and I'm finding that really helps my creativity, because you've got to be creative when you're trying to do all this stuff. So I hope that's helped a bit. I'm going to put some links below to show you some of the examples out there. Now, some of the examples that I've been looking at online, I have to say that they're very wordy. So even though people are using colours, it seems to just be a lot of words. I personally, from my own experience, have found you've got to get drawings, even if, I mean, you've just seen my drawing, for goodness sake. It's not like I'm a major artist there. Look at my bike and my human body. But you've got to get drawings and using a bit more of your creativity. I think the more drawings, the more colours, the less words, the more you're going to engage the left side of your brain, the one that's the right side, sorry, the one that's more creative. So the more colours, the more pictures. You don't need to be a fantastic artist, I'm not, but the more ways that you can get pictures rather than all words, the better. So I just thought I'd share that. Sorry that it went a bit pear-shaped with the stalling with, I don't know what's happened to my microphone. That's going to be a bit of a disaster. But I'll put some links below, and I definitely, if you're revising, if you're trying to remember things, even if you're doing anything like that, use it with your kids. There's some great resources out there for using mind mapping with your kids. They love it, because if you can get them being silly and creative and ridiculous over the top stuff, it works really well. But I'll put some resources below. Thanks, Mum. I'm glad you told me you couldn't hear me. I could have gone on for ages, just like... So that's cool. So yeah, pass that on to anyone you think might want to know a bit more about mind mapping and memory stuff. And I'll see you again next week. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.